Okay, I found it. Click on this. I'm going to look at the source code and I'll try and explain what's happening here. So you'll see that in pre-incrementing and post-incrementing, the plus plus happens after the C. It prints C, which is 5. Then the second right line prints C again, but it also increments it in the same line. And you get 5. And that's because it used the value of C for the right line command, then it added 1 to it. And then the last line, the third line, prints 6. In pre-incrementing, what happens is that you got 5, 6, 6. So the middle value is different. What happens is and this is the middle print line statement, is that the 1 is added to C first, then the value line command. So that's the difference. That's the only difference. Now, again, if you do the incrementing or decrementing on a separate line, nothing is different. But this is the somewhat subtle difference between post-incrementing and pre-incrementing. If it's after the C and you're combining it on the same line with another command, then the value is used first, and then the 1 is added to it. If it's pre-incrementing, first the 1 is added to it, then the value is retrieved. Okay? So that's essentially post and pre-incrementing. Yeah, you should definitely readability, put them right next to it. It's actually valid to put spaces there, as many as you want, but it's just not very readable. So that's sort of a standard to make it readable to do that. People able to see my screen? No, you weren't, were you? Shoot, sorry about that. Why didn't anyone say anything? Okay, you can see my screen now. Let's go through this again. Okay, so again, here you've got 5, 5, 6, 5, 6, 6. The difference between the post-incrementing and the pre-incrementing is only the second value of 6. In the post-incrementing, we're doing C, then plus plus. In post-incrementing, when this happens on the same line as another command, first the value of C is used by right line, then 1 is added to it. In pre-incrementing, where it's plus plus and then the variable, first a 1 is added to it, and then it's used by the document.writeLine method. Okay, so that's basically the difference. Is there any questions on that pre and post incrementing? Okay. All right, that's what we basically got there. So the unary operator says you shouldn't put spaces here. So I can put as many spaces here as I want and it'll still work. But the operator, the standard is not to put spaces there, just to make it more readable. That's all that's really saying. When incrementing or decrementing a variable in a statement by itself, the pre-increment and post-increment form have the same effect, right? So if you're doing them on an independent line, they have no different, the same effect exactly. When the variable appears in the context of a larger expression, as we did in that prior example, the pre and post increment do make a difference. In the pre, first a 1 is added to it, then the value is used. In a post, first the value is used in the other expression, and then a 1 is added to it. Otherwise, they really behave the same. Attempting to use the increment or decrement operator on an expression other than the left-hand side of the expression, commonly known as the L value, is a syntax error. Right, so you can't do something like this, plus plus in this expression. That won't work because it's got to add a 1 to something. So it's got to be an actual variable, a real variable. And here's your chart for plus plus, minus minus, and all the different combinations you have. Any questions on this one? Okay, no questions?